Today we're going to be making one of these chocolate wafer cookies. Looks kind of like an Oreo, but we're not going to say Oreo. So it's a chocolate wafer cookie. And to make these you need some scraps of black yarn. I just have a ball. And some scraps of white yarn. You'll need a size E, which is a 3.5mm crochet hook. A darning needle, large-eyed, blunt needle, not real sharp, and a pair of scissors. And to begin this, we begin with the magic circle. So we just take our yarn and hold it like this, wrap it around our finger twice, and pull it off. And the reason I use a magic circle is it gives you a much closer, closed off center than doing a chain would. So insert your hook through your yarn circle and pull up a loop. Now we're just going to work chain 1 and then 6 single crochets in this circle. If you don't want to use a magic circle, you could probably do a chain 4 and then join it, and that would give you a tight center. Here's 4, 5, and 6. And when I tighten mine up, I'll pull the string and see which one of my loops, maybe, there we go, which one of my loops move, and I'll go ahead and tighten that one first. Just pull it as tight as you can and see how it tightens up really, really tight there in the center. And then pull this string. Alright. And we're going to be working in rounds, which means not joining, so we're going to do, for this next round, 2 single crochet in each one. So here's 1. That'll give us 12 single crochets on this round. If you wanted to, you could use a stitch marker to mark the first stitch of each row. I tend to just count, especially with a small project like this. It tends to go a little bit easier for me to just go ahead and count them. Alright, so that's the end of row 2. And for row 3, what we'll do is we'll work 2 single crochets in this first stitch and 1 in the next. And we'll continue that all the way around, which will leave us with 18 single crochet on this round. So there's 3, 6, 9, some of my black yarn fuzz, 12, 'Got a little knot in my yarn here. One of the problems with these new skeins is that sometimes they don't quite pull out the way that you would like them to. Alright. There's 15. And there's 18. Alright, and when I fasten off, I like to do an invisible join. So we'll just cut my yarn, leaving a little tail, and I'll pull it all the way out so it's just coming through like this. And if you look, you have 1 stitch here and a stitch here, right here and right here, and we're going to be making a new stitch. So I'll take my yarn tail and go ahead and thread my needle. And we're not going to go through this first one, but we'll go under these 2 loops here for the next one. And pull your yarn through. And see right here where your yarn's coming out, we're going to go back into that loop. And it makes like an invisible join. You really can't even see where it is. And then I'm going to go ahead and weave in my ends. I just kind of run my needle under several stitches, and I'll bring it right back here to the center where my beginning yarn is. Make sure it's still kind of circular. And then because this is going to be in the center of our work, and you're not really going to see it, I'm going to tie a double knot to hold my ends together. And you want to repeat this 2 more times with the black so that you'll have a total of 3 circles. 1, 2, which is kind of hard to show up, and 3. But on the third circle, on the second black circle, I'm sorry, when you do that invisible join, don't cut your end off. You want to leave a long tail. Alright, now we're going to make our sandwich. We're going to lay the pretty side of your black circle, the right side, so that your little knot's on the inside down, and then your white, and then you want the pretty side on this one facing up. We're going to go ahead and thread our darning needle. Alright, and here's how we're going to do this. Since this is already coming out the bottom on here, we're going to go through the top 2 stitches on your white, and then the top 2 stitches on one of the blacks, and pull it all the way through. And then we're going to do a running stitch, which just kind of means you go over one, and I'm just skipping the post on that single crochet and go through the next 2 and the next 2, and now the top 2. And that kind of fixes it so that you can see those top 2 there, and you're just going to keep doing that all the way around. So basically we're weaving this black tail yarn over and under all of the posts on that final round for all 3 layers, so that we're kind of sandwiching them all together. Alright, here. And that'll make it so that you get that pretty white edge showing through on your middle layer, and you don't have any of the black poking through on that middle layer, and it'll really look like a sandwich cookie. And this takes a couple seconds, and this is a really quick little project to do, especially for little kids. You could even, if you wanted to, not connect the layers for those kids that only like to eat the white parts, and maybe they share the cookies and give their siblings the wafer part and they eat the white. Or if you wanted to make this a double stuff, you could do 2 of the white circles, and then you would just have 4 layers instead of 3. Almost done here. I think the sewing it together is, for me, probably the longest part of actually creating these cookies. You want to try to keep it lined up so that it'll lay pretty when you're done. And then I'll go back over that first stitch one more time. Kind of weeble wobble it into shape a little bit so it looks kind of round. And then what I'll do is I'll run back under to the center, and then from here I'll kind of catch a few stitches and run straight through to the bottom and come out the center like that, and then catch a few stitches and run straight through back to the top. And that'll kind of secure the middle of it together and keep it from shifting around quite so much. And then you just want to run under a couple of stitches and come back, pull it through, cut your end off, and there you go. Nice little wafer cookie. Alright, for more patterns and ideas, visit sunflowersathome.blogspot.com. Thanks for joining us.